Hello, remember me? I'm Jen. I am the Orthodox Healer and I have a Gentle Tarot channel on YouTube, which is what you're watching. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry that I've been away. Been having a bit of a tough time of things and needed a break. I'm still having a tough time of things, but I need to come back on here. I would love to develop the channel. I'd also love to shuffle cards better. How have you been? I'm sorry that I've been away. Did you miss me? I definitely missed you guys. What have you been up to? Leave me a message in the comments. Tell me what you've been doing. What have I missed? This is a collective reading. It's designed for the full moon. This will either be late on the 6th in the evening for you, or it will be early in the morning on the 7th, depending on where you are. I think in the UK it's going to be this evening on the 6th. These are 2 packs of Wendy Andrew Oracle cards, which I still can't shuffle. The full moon is the first supermoon of the year. Now, considering it's October, I know I don't know how we've got to October either. Considering it's October and this is the first supermoon, it's quite surprising. But it is going to illuminate something in your life. It's going to shed light on something. Perhaps you've had a bit of a hunch about this thing, or it might be a complete surprise that suddenly the lights go on and you say, oh. Now, it can be a good or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. But look at it, no matter what it is, look at it as being a good thing, because the universe has your back, and whilst it might be a shock to you at the time, it will all play out and it will work out well for you. So, let's have a look at what the cards are going to be. It's a grey autumnal day here. I hope you have better weather. We had a really bad storm at the weekend. I'm going to take that one, but not those. And yes, it's going to be the C word soon, before we know it, and the year has just completely flown by. So I hope that you're all fine. I am glad to be back. Still no job, still worrying about everything, still wanting to make YouTube a way of giving me an income. But until then, we will keep going. Right, I'm doing a dreadful job of shuffling these. I will shuffle them one more time and then that will do me. So let's see what we have. The underlying energy is reflection. And then we have, let's get them in the right order. We have shelter. You are cherished. Authenticity. Let your truth be heard. It's very much an ongoing theme for this year. Wildness and freedom. Let go and be. Move those over here. And then generosity. Be the divine flow of goddess nature. Opportunity is under authenticity. Expand your horizons. And the last card we have is self-exploration. Fairy tales and myths. For me, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are going into autumn. And that autumn, winter, that sort of hibernation kind of time. For you lucky people in the Southern Hemisphere, you're starting to go into the warmth and coming out of the winter. But this is a time for reflection. There's been a lot of reflection going on all through this year. The planets are doing unprecedented things. And it's always good to look back and look at the lessons we've learned, the places we've been to. I have been away for a couple of months and have come back, and quite honestly it feels like I've never been away. I've come back to problems, one of them being my remaining dog being very, very poorly. And it feels as though I haven't been away and I'd forgotten all the wonderful things that happened in the summer. It's very easy for us to forget and get caught up in the here and now. And it's also very easy to react. Now, reacting can be anger. It's been a real learning curve for me. I've learned a lot about myself this summer, and it is a real lesson in knowing and learning about yourself. And when you do know who you are and what presses your buttons, what upsets you, what makes you cry, what makes you smile. I did try to do this reading earlier on, and the theme was about joy, and this reading is about knowing yourself. Do you know yourself? How many of us actually do? I think that many of us think that we do, but then there's that sort of shadow side that we maybe don't want to take accountability for. And that shadow side of us is sometimes something that we blame other people for. If you reflect on the times where perhaps you've been really upset, or somebody has really pushed your buttons, or you've had a fallout or a disagreement with somebody, why did that happen? Was it because of what they said or how they said it, or was it that you perhaps misunderstood it, or you overreacted? Now, I'm not saying that that is something wrong, because we all do it. We all have an ego, as much as we wish that we didn't, or we don't care to admit that we have an ego. And we can get caught up in the here and now and the stress of everyday life, and we can just be triggered. We are, I know it's an old phrase, but it's true. We are responsible for our own feelings, and that also means that we are responsible for how we react to what other people do and what other people say. And this is about reflecting. Maybe this is the illumination of how you do get your buttons pressed by other people, and that it's not necessary. There's a really big thing going on at the moment about the phrase "let them." And it's a Mel Robbins thing, but it goes back to a really old poem, and it's about not letting yourself get wound up by what other people do and what other people say. If somebody wants to go off and do something silly that you don't think's right, yes, by every means, if it's something dangerous, or it's your daughter or your son, or it's a really dangerous thing, then yes, absolutely, support them, tell them you're worried. But if it's something minor, if it's somebody saying, "Oh, I don't like the colour of your hair," or "Oh, I'm not too sure about this," who cares? Who cares whether they like what you're doing or what you're saying? As long as you're not being rude and you're being respectful. Everybody has different opinions, but we're also reactive at the moment. And now is the time you're going to be, things are going to illuminate in your circle. And the full moon goes, 2 weeks either side, about where perhaps you overreacted, or that you've just been letting people press your buttons when you shouldn't have done. You literally can say, let them. And let them get on with it. If they want to rant and rave, you let them rant and rave. It's nothing to do with you. You haven't caused it. If somebody wants to overreact to something that you've said when there was nothing meant by it, let them. The cards that we have as under the reflection theme are shelter, generosity, authenticity, opportunity, wildness and freedom, and self-exploration. You are cherished, and you need to be generous to yourself. We are coming into autumn in the Northern Hemisphere, and it is a time for reflection. But you have to love yourself. Don't be in this sort of codependent situation where you're reliant on other people's comments or other people's reassurance to make you feel good. Be generous to yourself. Cherish yourself. If you don't have self-love, they say that other people won't love you unless you love yourself first. So be generous with your time, with the energy that you have, and give it to yourself first. If you need to rest and reflect, then you absolutely do it. You need to see how unique and how wonderful you are. And we aren't a society who tends to do that. We tend to be very hard on ourselves. We aren't generous with our love or our time for ourselves. But now is the time to be doing it. Hibernate and, give yourself some self-love. Pamper yourself. Go and buy that thing that you've been desperate to buy yourself as a treat. As long as it's, it's not going to get you into debt or anything. It can be a little thing. It can be that cake. It can be that pair of shoes that you've seen, which you don't really need, but they're half price. The next two cards, authenticity, let your truth be heard, and opportunity, expand your horizons. We have the full moon here. There's an opportunity here which you have maybe overlooked. I think if you do, have a little mini hibernate, spend some time being generous and kind to yourself, that you are going to suddenly remember an opportunity that you had which you didn't follow up. There might be something that you have always wanted to do, and just because you're so busy pleasing other people, you're not being authentic, and it's this opportunity, you've kind of forgotten about it, or you've buried it because it was maybe something which was going to affect somebody else negatively, or not in the way they wanted to be affected by it. So you need to be authentic, and by taking this time out, this opportunity is going to come back. The last two cards are wilderness and freedom, let go and be, and self-exploration, fairy tales and myths. Who are you? Do you know who you are? The whole year has really been about being your authentic self, learning who you are, what it is that you want, where you're going in your life. let go and be is about being authentic. What do you want to be? Do you want to completely reinvent yourself? Stop people pleasing. Self-exploration, if you want to dye your hair pink, shave it all off, I don't know, go and get a tattoo. Just go for it. Until you explore and explore yourself. You know, this all goes back to reflecting, thinking of the things that have happened in the past. Why were people pushing your buttons? What is it that you can do differently? Let people get on with it. Let people think what they want, and don't let yourself be affected by comments, you know, side eyes, things that you might have overheard that you think might be being said about you. Concentrate on you. Provide yourself with this opportunity to find out who you are. Be generous with yourself, with your self-love, because this is all a journey where you're going to really find out who you are and where you're going. The full moon is going to illuminate an opportunity. If you are generous to yourself and kind to yourself, and it's really going to send you off in a really exciting direction where fairy tales and myths, which you perhaps didn't think ever would be happening, may well start to happen. I hope that this has resonated with some of you. If it has, I'd love it if you'd leave a comment below, and also like the video because it sends the video out to more people. I hope you have an amazing full moon, and let me know what it is that's illuminated for you. It's a really beautiful reading, but it's all about self-love, and then the opportunities will come and the lights will shine and illuminate the things that are going to open up amazing things for you. Take care. I will be doing star sign specific readings again probably in the next couple of days, but hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Liking and subscribing spurs me on, and your support as ever is so appreciated. So take care, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.